Hey guys, I'm Kate. Welcome back to my channel, and today I want to have a little bit of just like a chatty video to talk about some things. And it's something that a lot of creative people struggle with, and that is dedication and how to figure out which projects are worth dedicating your time to. And I also want to circle an AuthorTube into this discussion. So anyways, I just got a lot of stuff. I just want to chat. I have hotel coffee, so I'm ready. And I mentioned that a lot of creative type people struggle with this because it's not just writing related, even though of course, welcome to this channel. And that's because we all have limited time. I don't think I know anyone who has all the time to do all the things they theoretically want to do. Because, you know, after work or school or hanging with your friends and family and like taking care of your mental and physical health, there's just not a whole lot of hours left in the day sometimes. And if you're like me, you have one thing that you're creative with, which, you know, I can't really bounce between kinds of creativity because I'm just not talented in that way. But it means that all of my creative energy is spent writing, and my brain can only take so much, you know? This old thing just needs to like tap out sometimes. So, you know, I already have limited time, and then I have limited creative time. And so how do you choose? And then once you do choose which project you want to focus on for writing specifically, or again, any creative tasks, you know, it's not like it's a one and done. It's not like it finishes really quick. This is something that can take a long time. So how do you know throughout that process that it's something worth sticking to in your limited time and not going off into some other project? I've been struggling with this recently because of course my free time has dwindled a lot because of this road trip, and I'm not complaining about that. That's a great problem to have. I've kind of talked about it. It's like all good things, right? Except that it's not all good things. And y'all have left me some awesome advice on all of my goal videos and the other times that I've talked about this, and I think it's totally true. I just need to reevaluate what my expectations are. But in doing so, that means that I understandably have to change all of the projects that I'm dedicated to because I have a lot of them. There's a lot of projects going on all at once in various stages of doneness. So, because now of course that I figured out I need to just like, you know, girl chill, the question becomes, how do I choose? Now I will say that one way in which I do not struggle with this, that I think some writers do, is figuring out if a story is worthwhile, if it's something I want to dedicate that time to. And if that is your issue, if you've been like working on one project forever and you're like, it's just not getting anywhere, or I don't know if this is a project that I should be spending my time on, I don't know if it's any good, or anything like that, my advice is actually the same advice I give to anyone who's having trouble finishing. And that advice is just to write out every single thing that you can think of that happens, any important dialogue that immediately springs to mind, just sentences here and there. It doesn't have to string into the narrative, just get it done. And then once it's done, I think you can evaluate a little bit better if it's worthwhile or not. If this is a story that once you've hit the end, you're like, oh no, I really do want to go back and flesh that out, or if you can move on from it. And I think so much of the time spent as a writer is doubting and like waffling between things that just nailing it out can be so helpful. And I will say that the reason I don't struggle with this is because I've written so many first drafts now. And if you watch my NaNoWriMo videos back last year, 2017, so a few months ago, I made daily vlogs and I was doing a project that I'd never done before. I was dabbling in adult science fiction. But it's something that I realized pretty quickly on that while I did enjoy dedicating the time to it at that moment, and I had the time to dedicate to that task, it's not something I'm going to be going back to anytime soon. It was a project that served its purpose in my mind, which was expanding my writing horizons. It taught me a whole lot of different things, like how I really actually like writing short stories. Like there was a lot of things I learned, but that doesn't mean I have to go back to that particular story. It done. Okay, so that's all the advice I have on finishing one project. But what do you do if you have multiple projects and you don't know how to choose between them? And I already talked about how I don't have an answer to this. How do you choose? If you know, comment down below and help a girl out. I'm actually going to have a silly collab video up with Becca C. Smith, who I got to see when I was in LA. That's gonna be up in just like a little bit. I turn to the universe for my answers. But again, I don't actually have any real answers for this, and I'm just gonna paint you a little picture about all of the open projects I have. Inevitably, I'm gonna have to narrow them down. So I'm just gonna lay it all out there. YA pirate fantasy novel, which is in the 3rd draft. I've talked about this a lot recently. Kickstarting my personal essays and articles to advance my freelance career that currently and probably no time in the immediate future will be making me any amount of money, but that is a goal. A new adult romance series that's likely 3 books but could potentially be an entire series. I have the ideas for 3 books though, and I'm currently working on the first draft of the first book. I've already plotted the other 2 though. 4, a young adult contemporary novel about kidnappings and social media and how they intertwine, and I promise within the course of the novel it makes sense. That is a quick first draft that I completed a while ago and I was just letting marinate while I had all these other projects going on. 5, Scooby-Doo meets Princess Bride, currently in the works. I'm working on the first draft now. It's a carryover from Camp NaNoWriMo in April. It's probably gonna be my July Camp Nano goal. Who knows at this point. 6, a co-written contemporary novel that's in the 3rd draft. Who knows if that's ever gonna get done. And also, this doesn't count the YA sci-fi dystopian novel that I was also brainstorming and outlining for a potential for Camp NaNoWriMo in April. So I have a lot of that work done, just not the actual writing portion. So that is a lot of open projects. And I do wanna say the unique qualifier here is that this isn't a situation that's going to change in the next 7 months. I'm on this trip for 7 months and I've been on it for over a month now. I think I have a rhythm and flow for how much work I can and can't do. I'm slowly coming to terms with it with y'all's help, because usually my advice would be like, if it's just 2 weeks, you know, you're going through a hard time, you have exams coming up, it's freaking tax month like Brooke had to deal with, just let that month be that month, or let those 2 weeks be those 2 weeks, and don't worry about it. Just let that be, let all of the creative projects be on the back burner if you need to. But this is 7 months and I cannot do that for a lot of reasons, most of which I don't wanna. So I gotta figure some stuff out. And originally this was going to include an author tuber rant, but I think I'm actually gonna take this to the beach because there's a lot of people now, so this is gonna be a really weird conclusion to this video. I've never done something like this before, but this is what's happening. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below and let me know what you guys do when you have too many projects going on at once. How do you decide? Is this an unanswerable question? And I'm on the move. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all very soon with the new video. Bye! There were so many people. Thing that you're creative on, there's someone outside. Okay. Are you gonna stop here or no? I can't tell what's happening. Oh, people. Someone's right outside. It is totally fine.